All right, so today's Friday, for me anyways, just before the weekend, just heading out to the metal supplier. Landed this pretty sizable job, so I got to throw it all on the car right now. Definitely going to be a little bit on the sketchy side because it's 24 feet long, lengths. So we're going to hang it, we're going to strap it to the roof of the car and then get going. Anyways, pretty excited about this job, and I thought I'd talk to you about how to introduce yourself and when dealing with clients, and how you can really land more jobs just in your regular daily life. This client that we're doing this build out for is definitely one of my bigger clients now, probably my biggest client, definitely most appreciated, and one of those clients where, if I was really hurting for some work, I can reach out to and say, hey, a little slow lately, any projects you want to look at or something, and he'll do his best to give me something or give me a request or anything really to get stuff going. But obviously this developed over time, and how he first found me is I did work for a buddy of mine, and it just went down the grapevine that I work with metal. And it's important when you start a business that you do need to make it part of your daily conversations. And when you're mingling and meeting people in regular life, whether it's at parties, social gatherings, club sports, kids club sports, like whoever you deal with in your daily life, it's important that you don't shy away from telling people what you do in a manner that communicates to them. Like in general, when I'm talking to people and they find out, oh, you run a business, what do you do? I typically say, I'm a welder. I do all sorts of metal manufacturing. And if the topic was specific to a certain type of product, then I'll definitely, go into that. Like we do home decor, or we do custom signage, stuff like that. Those are like a few highlighted ones I say. Or I do a lot of gym equipment. So if I'm talking to someone in a more of like a sports or fitness atmosphere, I'll be like, well, I run a welding business and we do a lot of gym equipment and a variety of metal fabrication. And in doing so, it's got me quite a bit of, the equivalent of walk-in traffic, like when people just call you and see, hey, I got a project, what would you charge or anything. So just something interesting to start working into your repetition, your regular daily life. People around you, acquaintances, people that kind of know you should also know what you do, what your business does, and how that can affect their lives. Because if people don't know what you do, you're just that guy that owns a business. Or if people ask you start talking to you and you say your business name but not what you do, it's way different. You can be Axion Manufacturing or some like Omega Metal Works or something, like all these random names. Like it really doesn't help people know what you do. Like if you just give yourself a name and a broad title of the industry you're in, you really gotta, people need to know, hey, I'm John and I make custom furniture. I'm John and I, repair machinery and stuff. And that kind of more specific wording will get people talking. And there's a lot of people that, say you really do a specific type of service over other ones, you're not always going to get talking to people that need your service, but they remember your name and what kind of service you provide. So maybe, somebody from your son's hockey team doesn't know or doesn't need any custom welding fabrication, but then they're talking to their dad who owns a farm, and he's like, oh, my trailer broke and I'm really stuck in a bind. And he's like, oh, I was just talking to John from hockey, he's a welder. And those are how those conversations go, and you end up getting phone calls by other business owners, by other people that need your services, and they say, hey, so-and-so told me that you do this, or so-and-so told me that you do that. So that's just what I wanted to get into. Anyways, we're just pulling into the metal shop now. So I'm gonna back up and load up. Here's the load, pretty fucking big. We'll get it on the car. Okay, so if you made it this far, then you might be interested in what the actual project is that we landed. So it's a pretty big structure. It's like a 16 feet by 24 feet pergola or carport is the best way to describe it. Basically, it's 6 wooden beams and a metal framed roof with tin roofing on the top. So that's more or less the build here. And like I said, I'm going to get this load on the car, definitely on the sketchy side. But I'll throw up a picture just in a second here of the drawing I sent to the customer, more or less what the build out should look like. So I'm not fully sure if I've already mentioned this. Please forgive me there. The recording and editing is, all new to me. But basically this whole build out, I think I'm going to split. I'm looking at all the footage now, maybe into 3, almost even 4 parts. We'll see how it goes. In this video, obviously you saw the drive to the metal shop. I'll take this load back to my place and we'll jump into another continuation of the discussion. But I'll just get everything back to my place and then we'll do some more in-shop manufacturing and prep work for part 2, and then maybe part 3 will be on site and see if I could wrap it up in 3 pieces. But so as I'm loading this up, like I said, this is a Hyundai Accent, like a compact car. And we're throwing some 24-foot pieces on top of like just a whole load of metal. Like there's a lot of pieces I got them to cut in half preemptively, just because for the job they already need to be around 12 feet. So it's definitely pushing it, but something that really rings true to me. And so I'm here in Canada, and like some of the political speakers here will say if we had to rebuild the Canadian railway in 2025, that we would struggle to do so. We'd get caught up in red tape and regulations and stuff. And there's something to be said for just making stuff happen and learning on the go and just getting stuff done and asking questions later. So that's a little bit of what I'm all about here, but we're getting everything on the car now. I'll get it strapped in and we'll go for the sketchy drive home. What do you think, guys? All right, so I'm on my way home with fucking 24 feet on the car. Definitely, I've done this before and I didn't remember it. I've done this before and I didn't remember it being so sketchy, but I'll show you what I'm looking at out of my windshield. And then, I don't know if you can see out the back, but got maybe 2 or 3 feet. Got maybe 2 or 3 feet out the back. No, sorry, 2 or 3 feet past the front of my car. And maybe 3 or 4 feet out the back. I put a red flag. I think it's all technically legal, but if it is or isn't, I'm still pushing it for sure. I definitely want to stop doing this, or need to come up with a better solution here. Maybe I could have just waited a few days, paid for delivery, but sometimes you just have to make do and hope that everything works out. I'll take it slow home. We should be all right. Just is pretty sketchy though. Oh my. Okay, so I get a bit quiet here, mostly because I'm stressing the F out, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for watching this far. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you leave me a like, hit me up in the comments with some questions, some remarks. I've really been enjoying some of the interactions, people diving into just asking me what I'm doing, what my thought process is, or what kind of things I'm doing in my business. Feel free to hit me up, subscribe, tag along for the full build. Like I said, this is going to be a multi-part series, and we got a lot of footage coming up later. Whew, I'm going to have tense shoulders when I get home. This is a little bit too sketchy for my liking. Alright, so we're about halfway home. Just had a FedEx truck blast their horn at me. I think they weren't happy with how slow I was driving with this big thing on the car, but then he got past me and got to the same red light, so it's not like I was going drastically slow. And my only thing that's concerning with that is that, again, I don't think I'm doing anything technically illegal, but I'm sure, like, if there was like road police, they're called MTO here, they like check loads and stuff. I'm sure if one of them was driving by, they'd pull me over just to make sure everything's secure and stuff, and maybe they'd give me a warning. Like, it looks crazy, but I just had to slam on the brakes. Well, I maybe didn't need to, but it was a yellow light, so I figured not push it with the load. I had to hit the brakes pretty hard, and nothing slid forward. So it's probably repeating myself, but it's like risk reward. Like, a lot of people, and like I see them in the comments too, they get upset about certain choices I make or habits that I have that seem unsafe. And there's a time and a place for health and safety, and there's a time and a place for making calculated risks. Obviously, I've said it time and time again, like, well, moving big heavy stuff with, like, if I'm getting somebody to help me move like 400 or 500 pounds of metal, and I always stress, like, I'm going to be very honest here, everything we're doing is worthless compared to your life. So if you have to bail and get out of Dodge, that's your first priority. When you're working with machinery, equipment, heavy pieces of material and stuff, like, obviously you got to be able to get yourself clear and make sure that you're safe and aware of everything that's going on around you. That's definitely always needs to be in consideration. Now, have I lifted big heavy pieces of metal where if I make a mistake, something's going to fall? I've done that for sure, but I'm always confident in my surroundings where I'm able to step out of the way or guide it out of the way. But obviously, this industry is not without accidents, people losing limbs, heavy sheets of metal falling on people, and really got to be smart. Now, like I said, I'm going to be back home pretty soon, and in a day or two, I'm going to bring this whole load to the job site. Now, looking at how this goes now, I'm definitely going to split it in two at the very least. But this is all part of it. Like, when you're a small business, like, business is a risk, and that's in all senses. It's a financial risk. You can fail. Obviously, everybody knows in every business, if you've worked as an employee, that people cut corners. Managers, owners, they really try and push the limits sometimes, and I gotta say, I don't blame them. And obviously it's up to you, if you're an employee, that you feel like you're being asked to do something you shouldn't, whether that's safety or ethically. You really gotta own that in your own, like, independent way, whether you're working for somebody or working for yourself. Your safety, your ethics, you have to weigh it against against everything you're doing. Now, I really try and lead an ethical business. Have I made some mistakes? Have I disappointed some people? Yes. Have I tried to make it up and be forthcoming and, try and work with people when I can if somebody's disappointed? Absolutely. Can you make everybody happy? No. You're going to disappoint people. Even if you're, like a top tier operator, businessman, and really like knocking it out of the park, there's going to be times where it's either lack of communication, lack of anything, lack of communication, mistake on your part, mistake on the client's part. It'll happen. Subcontractors or other trades you're working with, something can go wrong, and sometimes a lot of people feel it. But in any case, I'm driving this load, and I know this client has seen me pull into his job with this car and like a bunch of stuff on it and really pushing the limit, and he knows, like, he can tell that I'm a young guy really trying to make stuff happen, even though I don't have the most fanciest things around me, a big team around me. There's companies that can offer the services that I can do, and whether they're more expensive or even cheaper because they have machinery, equipment, and stuff, like this client chooses to work with me for a couple reasons. He sees that I'm a young go-getter kind of guy, that he'll ask me stuff that some people might say, no, I don't really want to do that, or we'll only do this, and I'll just tell them, like, I'll either figure it out and say I can do it, or I can find somebody that can do it, and 9 times out of 10 I'll just do it myself, whether that means researching, looking stuff up, sourcing new suppliers for new types of products and materials just to deliver the product that he wants. And even if I were to charge more than, say, a company that specializes in what the client wants, like this job is going to be like a big carport, like a pergola. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically a big structure with a steel roof, open walls. And obviously there's other businesses that can do that, but it's not, it is something you have to account for on any level. If you're trying to get work done, you got to source suppliers, you got to source tradespeople or businesses that specialize in what you're after for. And to this client, he really doesn't deal with a wide network of people, builders, contractors. He knows that if he reaches out to me, that I'll be able to do it one way or another. Okay. Yeah, we're just pulling in. I'll show you again what we're looking like. So I ended up right at the garage door. So not bad. Stay tuned for this project. It's going to be a pretty nice build. That'll be all next week.